Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joy Lingerie. Welcome to Matured Musicians Group. Today I have with me Diane Keene and Larry Hayes, both members of the Woods Creek Band. and I'd like to give a shout out before we start to my sponsor, Luscious Moss Studio, owned and operated by Chad Quist in Edgewood, Washington, which I spent some time in on Saturday, about 4 hours. Anyway, if you have any recording needs, he's a man to find. You can find him on Facebook under either Luscious Moss Studio or Chad Quist in Edgewood. And good luck with that. He's a very busy man, but he does cater basically primarily to drummers and lead players recordings, but he also does other things, and I'm an example of that. So let's start. I do want to say one last thing I forgot. It's a very creative and collaborative environment. So when you go there, you will not only enjoy being there, but you'll have inspiration. He's very good at producing music. So what is your background, Diane? I saw you singing at the Oxford like a bird. I love your music.
Thank you.
I heard you do Shania Twain, and I'm like, well, son of a gun, I've been wanting to do that.
I love Shania Twain. I'm working on more of her stuff too. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
She's a great
upbeat and fun and kind of silly and girly and that sort of thing. So yeah, I love her stuff.
Was that the one where she was in the tuxedo?
That song is, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when did you get into music? How did you begin? What was your
I grew up with I'm the oldest in a family of 6 and with 3 younger brothers. And my mother was the organist at our church, an excellent pianist and singer in college. And we just did a lot of singing as adult Gardner singers at our church. And then I've always been in choirs in school, in high school, and just always loved music. My mom tried to get me to play piano when I was younger, and I just hated it, and I wouldn't do it. And I wish she had made me do it. I go, Mom, why didn't you make me? Well, I wasn't going to make you, and she couldn't teach me. She had me go to someone else, and I just, for some reason, didn't want to do it. And then I learned to play I wanted to learn to play the guitar, but I didn't spend much time at it. And originally I started getting together with Larry just to try and learn to play the guitar. But then, when I was singing, we thought, well, this would be fun to do some more stuff with music, see what happens. So that's pretty much my background as far as
how long ago was that all this is taking place?
So 8 years ago now. When I first started going over to Larry's and trying to learn the guitar, and then we just started singing together. And it just kind of evolved from that. And he retired and wanted to spend, more full time on music.
Right.
He'll tell you more about that when it's his turn to talk. But it's pretty interesting, I think.
Because you've been amazing. 8 years together. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just hearing of you now.
Yeah, we're like best friends. Yeah.
I caught your act. I caught Larry during the COVID was streaming, and I was listening to him. He was setting up a studio, and he'd play a little bit, and then he'd log out, and then you stepped into the picture. And I don't think I saw you again until a couple of weeks ago at the Oxford, and actually got to hear you in person and live.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah.
How did you get your name? How did you guys pick out the name Woods Creek?
Our bass player at the time, a couple of years ago, we were trying to come up with a name for quite a few years, and neither one of us could agree on anything, And so finally, out of desperation, I just said, well, I like what our bass player just said, Woods Creek. Because he lived on that street or in that neighborhood in Monroe. And he says it's kind of in between country and kind of, not country. So, because we're kind of both, we do country, but we also do pop and rock and jazz and blues and all kinds of things. We like the variety.
It's a great name. I like it.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course, I like the woods. So that's I
Yes,
live on a
yes,
creek.
definitely. Yeah.
So I have two listeners
Perfect.
today. I know it's a little difficult to see it, but with hi, Michael McMath. Says hello, everybody.
Oh,
And
hello
Rodney
there.
Landert, one of the best fiddlers, is
Oh,
listening in. I
oh,
interviewed him a
nice.
few weeks ago. So welcome, Rodney. Glad to see you in here.
Hello, Rodney.
So did you ever do any paying gigs, Diane? Like prior to this, or were you just
No, I was just in choirs at church and in at school, pretty
oh,
much.
okay?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So you're
So this
really
is a new adventure for me. I
newbie.
tend
Yeah.
to go from one extreme to the next. And before this, I had a hair salon for 25 years, had my own
Oh,
business. So I'm a business person. And then I also taught aerobics for 25 years and was all over the Seattle area, teaching everywhere and had my own classes. And then got into West Coast swing and just went nuts over that.
yeah.
And now I'm kind of going nuts over music.
Oh, cool.
Kind of how I do things. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a great partner, Larry Hayes, who is just knows exactly what he's doing and gives me great advice and has helped me so much. And mostly, I can say about him is he believed in me.
Ah,
You
oh,
know,
that's important.
that's a big deal for me,
Yes, that's a big
and
deal.
it meant
Right.
so much to me.
So
Well,
guys, I'm gonna phase out for a minute. Larry, I'm gonna ask you the same question to give us your I know you have an extensive background, but I gotta just the lighting in here. The sun is my my source and
okay.
it's giving me
It
a
shows
bad
off your red hair. I love that
yeah,
that
thank
color,
you.
your auburn hair. I love it.
Yeah, I'm actually a blonde. Don't tell anybody.
Right.
So
It's
one
our,
moment.
it's
Go
our,
ahead, Larry.
so what is the exact question? I mean, how did they start in music?
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Basically, when did you start? How like how young were you, or you don't have to give age, but
yeah,
child or teenage or whatever. And who were your influences, and what brought you to the lead guitar?
sure, sure. Yeah, that's a story. Let me see. I actually, thinking about it, when did I start? I took piano lessons when I was 6. We had a neighborhood teacher across the street, people that were involved in singing in theater and stuff like that. And then um, around that time, I inherited a radio. My uncle passed away, same namesake as me, and I got a radio, and I started listening to. This is probably about 1963. I was just a little kid, 6, 7 years old. Started listening. All this rock music was going on, so I really all that stuff went in my brain really young. So I got a guitar when I was 9. Started taking lessons, and I was terrible.
Yeah.
I really had a hard time kind of getting the concept, for like
Yeah.
a solid year of
Yeah.
no, not like that, Larry. One day it just clicked,
Yeah.
but I've been exposed to a lot of music when I was a kid, and that's very, very helpful. So basically, I kind of glommed on to music as a thing for me fairly early on. I mean, 6th grade was, go play Sunshine of Your Love for show and tell, that kind of stuff. So I was listening to all the rock music, and that's really all I really wanted to do. So all through high school, I did, stage band. Never played a horn. I never played in the other bands, but also my brother, he was in the Sentinels Drum and Bugle Corps, so I was exposed to music that way as well.
He
So,
was what? I'm sorry, Larry. Couldn't hear that.
sorry, he was in the Sentinels Drum and Bugle Corps.
Okay. Gotcha.
So they would have drum rehearsals at my house and
Ah,
rattle the dishes, with a 12-piece drum line playing in my basement.
wow.
Anyway, so I've been exposed to music for a lot. Played through junior high school. I got into a band with my brother. I was in 6th grade, and we that at the time Traffic was a really popular band, so we decided, we decided to call ourselves Merging Traffic.
Merging traffic.
Yeah, because it seems like with free advertising, right?
Right.
And anyway, so played all the way through high school. I really disconnected from most academic subjects in high school and just played. Went to Berklee School of Music for 1 year
Yeah.
as when I was 19. So I was on the 1 year, 2 semester plan at Berklee. Like a lot of people, they go there for 1 year. Hey, I got this covered. And I started playing um, 6 nights a week. So I got into various bands. We could talk about my band career if we have more time, but played around the Seattle area full time 6 nights a week from about 20 until I was 28 and married, and second kid was on the way. So I kind of changed gears into other lines of work.
Yeah.
So The current plan, more up to date, is that I've been on a 30-year hiatus until about 6 or 7 years ago. You know,
Yeah, and then you met Diane.
I met Diane, and I was still working at UPS. The only day that I had any energy to play was Sunday at 4 o'clock, so or 3, whatever the time was. And so she was singing in a church choir, rehearsals, 3 services in the morning. So she would come over here with her voice completely warmed up and ready to sing, and she obviously had something really good going on, not having done it before. So
Right.
I had to kind of coax her to sing at first because she was like, well, I don't know, put her
Yeah.
on the microphone. She was very, very, very shy about the whole thing. So this has been a process for the two of us to try to, get things going. So the original intent with doing music with Diane was that I would be singing, she would be singing, and I was singing quite a bit with her. But to digress into the sad part of the story, I got sick when my last year at UPS. I got some kind of infection in my tooth, and I started losing my voice. I didn't know
Oh no.
at the time. I started losing my voice. I used to sing a lot of duets and stuff with her, but my voice has never come back to sing more. So anyway, that's a whole story by itself.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
stopped singing, so she's lead singing, and I'm just doing the music part of it. So we're doing a lot of duo stuff. Yeah, so it has been 7 or 8 years now, right? Something like that.
8 years, yeah.
Yes.
And I
Amazing.
think I originally met Diane before she moved away. I was a social dancer, a West Coast swing dancer.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, we met socially dancing, and I actually didn't know her very well, but I did know her husband Bob because he was always joking around and chatting, and he's a pretty funny guy. In fact, when they moved back into town 7 or 8 years ago, I met them at a dance after not seeing them in a long time, and Bob goes, "Hey, Diane needs something to do,"
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Diane.
So it's like Diane goes, "Oh, okay." I don't know what she expected, but when she came over and she, basically she wants to learn a song. I can learn this song roughly on the spot. I
Right.
can play it and back her up. So I think what we did was we just said, "Hey, you can sing." She could obviously sing. She has very good pitch, very good vocal control, and she'd been doing it for a long time. I think it's in the family. Your brother plays saxophone too, I think.
Yeah, he's got his master's in music performance.
Wow.
My brother does, yeah.
Yeah.
Did he ever help you in any of this?
He's come to a few of our gigs and plays saxophone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's really good. Really
He's
good. But he's busy with so many things. He has a huge family, like 12 kids, and you know what I mean? So he does the best he can with keeping up his skills, and he's still really good, but he doesn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
But,
Diane, your family's just super musical. You had a musical.
Yeah.
Element. So, I mean, all the elements were there in the raw. It
Right.
just had to do with her desire. So really, I just gave her Sundays we got together Sundays before I retired. That was the only day. And it seemed to really work. And so when I retired, I got plans to do other things and make another music career. And basically I retired, and then I didn't retire. I'm kind of, burning the fire under it to play as much music as possible.
Yeah.
After 30 years of not doing it, and then sort of reclaiming who I really am as a musician.
What kind of gigs do you guys do? Are you into wineries and breweries, or do you do clubs? Or the only place I've ever seen you is Oxford, so I didn't even know you were out there singing, or I'd have been there sooner.
yeah, we do a lot of wineries in Woodinville, and then other events that come around in the summer, farmers markets and things like that.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of breweries, some corporate events.
Oh.
We were at Palisade around Christmas time, which is a really prestigious restaurant, and they had a corporate event there, and that was a lot of fun with our band. We're a duo, trio, and a 4-piece band.
Wow.
So
Sounds like fun.
we do it all. We do it all, and we love it. Keeps us busy.
Somebody wrote, I'm pretty sure I saw you guys at Maltby. Maltby, I'm thinking, is there a place
Probably.
in Maltby?
Trying to think where in Maltby we would have been.
Yeah. Can you identify yourself, please? We can't see who you are unless you tell me.
Yeah, it might have been
Maltby. I know I visited a place there once, and I was trying to get a gig there.
Yeah.
They used to have a place, I think it was in Maltby, where they were doing bluegrass music, but in a song circle kind of thing.
Okay.
And that was a while ago, so I don't know. But
Yeah.
I've never found any place to play there.
There's a pizza place there.
Yeah, there is. And he did say, or he or she, bluegrass, sorry guys, bluegrass jam stage show. Oh, yeah, they had I went to that. For a while they had people would perform, but before the performance, everybody would get together in a song circle and play. And it was technically, except for me, country, bluegrass.
Okay.
And so I don't know what it was called, but I know what they're referring to because I did that. And I don't know what happened. I moved on to other things, I think, because the COVID, I'm not sure, or it shut down or something happened, but it disrupted that because I was going there and I enjoyed it. So. And then the band would play whatever band they had scheduled would play afterwards of that group, whatever they had scheduled for that time.
Yeah, I love bluegrass music. I haven't done any of it, but I love it. Yeah.
I have one song I do, and last time I performed it, I thought, oh, I never forget this song. Sure enough, I forgot the words right in the song.
You got to write it down. I know you get excited, and then if you don't write it down, you're like, what was that? It drives you crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that you've been playing for 8 years and you're going here and there, and what was going on when everything shut down for you guys? I mean, that had to be you were just kind of starting out before that started, and then COVID hit.
It could not have come at a worse time.
How long were you retired before that happened, Larry?
Let me see, 2017.
Oh, you were retired for a while?
Yeah. I was 2 years into it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, during COVID, we just worked on a lot, our skills and a new material. It was a perfect opportunity because we weren't gigging hardly.
Right.
And we did some stuff on Facebook, we survived it pretty well, actually, I think, overall. We just developed our skills and just came up with new music. And so that when things did lighten up, we, changed. We had some great stuff, and we were prepped and ready to go for it.
Larry, you were saying, no, it's not the best time. It wasn't the best time for a lot of people.
For anybody in the music business.
Yeah.
It's considered.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, but it's considered an elective. It's not, an essential service supposedly. So I think it's essential myself. But
Yeah. Well, did you have any thoughts when that was going on, and you practiced at home, that it may not return, that some of these places might go out of business if it was long-standing? Or, I mean, that was
some of them have. Yep.
That was one of my concerns.
They're still recovering, I think. Still recovering, but a lot of places are coming back too. So, yeah.
Larry, you were saying?
I'm hoping it starts to come back even stronger than it is right now. But it definitely changed the entire landscape as far as places to play, band places especially.
Yeah.
Everybody got financially pinched, so it's harder to make money, but or to get what was being paid before. But I talked to people in other states that are doing much better than here still, like Florida, or they're playing a lot of music in different places. So
and I don't know what it is around here in this area on the east side and up north. I'm kind of detached from south now, but down in Tacoma area and Puyallup in that area. So up here it took its toll, and I was wondering who's all going to close, because places are beginning to shut down. And I've heard from the people that I've been interviewing that it's not as active as it was prior. And of course, I'm not out there right now, so I don't know what this thing is like. I'm just trying to start, but I don't want to start too soon. I want to make sure that whoever I'm with, our feet are on the ground. I need you to clone yourself, Larry.
Oh, okay.
So Anyway, moving on from that, what was your well, I the first Diane, what were your influences as far as or did you just drift to the music that you're doing now, or how did that all come about? Do you have any particular artists or bands that you really liked and you liked their music besides Shania Twain?
Yeah, really, really.
Who doesn't like her?
Well, I grew up with John Denver, Olivia
Yeah.
Newton-John, Bread, America, Chicago. Love all that stuff. You know, my favorite artist, I have to say, is Sarah Bareilles.
I know her.
And she's more of a contemporary, younger artist. Gorgeous voice, absolutely beautiful, amazing voice. And so, yeah, I love her music. Melody Gardot, she's another younger jazz singer that's really, really good. Has her own style.
I don't know her either.
But I like a lot of music that has a lot of drums in it too.
Yeah.
So for all that, I was taking drum lessons and trying to learn how to play the drums for quite a
Yeah.
while, and it helped my timing a lot, you know, and that sort of thing. And if it's just the two of us doing a duo, I'll bring a tambourine or a shaker or something like
Yeah.
that, and it kind of influences what I do there, because I love that kind of music that has a strong beat, you know, strong drum beat. And we're dancers too, so we like
Oh yeah.
definite beat for when you're we think of a lot of our music is it a good dance song, you know, even if it's just the two of us, you know,
Right.
doing it acoustically. A lot of people get up, and we invite a lot of our dance friends. It's a pretty tight group to come see us whenever we play, and a lot of them show up and they'll dance and entertain everyone while we're up there, and we'll be just, you know, singing their praises and, you know, that sort of thing. So I think that kind of answers your question, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Larry,
Mhm.
you obviously have moved beyond the point where you were struggling with playing music to playing it extremely well.
Yeah, maybe.
So what when you were younger, what was the pull into it, and who were you listening to, and who did you have, or maybe nobody, but did you have any bands or any particular artists that was speaking to you that you were moving towards, or
Yeah, I'd say all the music from the mid '60s on, really. I was listening to all of it because it was like my radio, you know. I could listen to it at night and turn it down really low and listen to all that stuff. So yeah, kind of like everything if it's played well, you know.
Yes.
I think when I was younger, I liked the rock stuff like Led Zeppelin and, you know,
Yeah.
and all the guitar gods of the '60s stuff, and I played most of that stuff in bands. You know, I don't know. I'm kind of exploring some country stuff these days.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I think I went to the Club 170, which is a private club, and then they played the band there that has a jam on Monday nights, and the band is the Old Strokers band, and they play all traditional country, and it was really good going back to my roots and listening to that music when I went there, and but in the 80s, I really wasn't a fan necessarily of country. There were a few stars that I liked, but that would come across pop radio. And I think it wasn't until the 80s. And I think the very first artist I ever heard was Shania Twain, whose bed have your boots been under? And I was lost. That was it. And the beats are progressing. Even when I write and record my own music more towards rock. Chad is a progressive rocker, and he does a lot of 70s, 80s rock and so forth, as well as what he does for himself. And I wanted that influence because I heard it in the music of today, and it's becoming more interesting. A lot of people don't like it. They want that older country music, more traditional, but I like the beats. I like the beats because there's a lot of different drum beats. It's interesting. It's entertaining, and it's moving somewhere between country and rock, and I like it.
Yeah, that's
I do too. I do too.
The '80s, '90s country stuff there's some of it's pretty rocky.
Absolutely. You know, I don't get as much time as I'd like to listen to today's country singers, but I had during COVID connected with Jessica Lynn Whitty, and I don't know if you've ever heard her, but she's a country singer. She was out touring, and her bass player was Lynn Sorensen, and she was going through the northern states at concerts, etc. And she's an incredible writer. And she had this showcase where she would interview and play with people who all over from Europe and here and everywhere that were just starting out. That were singer-songwriters. It was incredible. I got to listen to and follow their journey up till now. It's amazing. At that time, they couldn't tour necessarily, but they were definitely getting their music out through stream. So just a heads up there. So are you singer-songwriter, Diane, or do you help her write, Larry? Have you written anything yet?
You know, I'm not a singer-songwriter myself. I've always been sort of a sideman musician and working on my chops and being an available person that can help singer-songwriters interpret their music.
Right.
So I just don't find it that I have a huge message that I want to go sing to the world. You know? But I really like taking somebody who has the beginnings of their ideas or their basic ideas and helping them realize it. So that's where I get my kicks. Really, I like somebody who knows 3 chords and they're speaking the truth. I'll help them do their song.
3 chords, a little more than that these days for women. Yeah. I try to do some little big towns, and it's like, wow, there wasn't a lot of chords, but there's a lot of stuff that you got to learn in there.
Like for instance, Little Big Town, we do Little White Church.
Yeah. I heard it. I listened to it on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's that's an interesting song. It's got a super bluesy, but it's definitely country.
Definitely, absolutely.
So I like stuff like that too. We do a couple by them, don't we, Diane?
Yeah, we do Pontoon also. That's a fun one. People seem to like that.
What is it called?
Pontoon.
I'll have to.
Pontoon. That was one of their big hits. Yeah, you've probably heard it, just don't remember. But
when I'm working on, and I've been doing, and it's not polished yet, is Tornado.
Okay.
Because I'm from Minnesota and almost died a few times in one. And
oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, when I get mad, that's exactly how I feel. In that song, she's describing when he cheated on her, she was feeling in it, and she likens it to the tornado, being a tornado coming after them.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So have you thought of any songwriting, any songs that you like to write, or how you prefer covers, or where are you going in your journey?
We love to do covers, pretty much. Yeah, that's what we do. We try to find what the audience likes to hear.
Right. And dance to.
When we first got together, we focused more on what we liked.
Right.
But but we've learned that we need to be out there for what the audience wants. And so discovering that is another adventure and really enjoying that.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know if the music I was doing for covers was something the audience wanted until I heard Rodney Landert. And he was out at CCR, and the fiddle player, he does Charlie Daniels tributes. And he was doing everything that they were singing, the songs that we've done in my band when I had it and what I'm doing now. And it was like, wow, but they still love it. They were dancing. That floor is packed. So, yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would. There's a few local songwriters where I'd like to cover some of their songs, which we really haven't explored. But Greg Murat is one of them. I
know him.
Oh yeah. So there's some good local people that write great songs.
All right. I wouldn't have thought they did, but they do. So
yes.
I'm glad to hear that. Do you guys have a goal for your band? Like, do you see yourself? What do you see 5 years from now? Or where are you headed? What would you like to improve, or where would? Pardon?
Can I
always got hand up.
At this point in time, it's like I feel like there's a fire burning. There's an opportunity to get really creative and invested in playing music right now. There's not really tomorrow. The music business as it used to exist doesn't really exist.
Yeah, not anymore.
So, I'm not going to get rich. I'm not going to get famous. Never was, right? It's not to get rich quick. This is the get poor quickly scheme, I think.
Get poor quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You make the money and then you go buy a new thing, you know? So, no, I just, my 5-year plan is to go like heck I had a 10-year plan when I retired at 61. So I've got another 5 or 6 years on the original plan. Okay. So I'm just giving it all that I got. And let me say something about that is that, I worked day jobs. I worked, union job, 12 hours, 11 hours a day for the first job. Then I ran a business for 15 years and I worked, this is a speech I gave at Toastmasters. I worked 15 hours a day for 15 years and it just about killed me, Then I got a very low stress, not job at UPS delivering packages for basically 12 hours a day, 60 hours a week. And I did that for about 12 years. So I've had to be really intense and focused about doing what I do and being completely committed into it because that's the only way you survive that, right? And so now my purpose is doing music. So the 5-year plan is to treat it as though it's an emergency.
They treat it as though it's a what?
An emergency. There's a fire burning. The time is now, right? And just go attack it, So I'm attacking it,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, like that. Do you have any thoughts on that, Diane? What do you see yourself doing? I mean, I know the struggle of going up in front of people the first few times, the singing with the band and learning the music and and having I don't know about you, but I had some serious self-doubts as to whether I could sing or not, whether like, what the heck am I doing here? So
Oh yeah, I think, when I first started, I was scared to death. And it's probably been the last couple of years that I've really relaxed and getting to know the music well enough, finding what my voice is going to be and knowing how to use it right. And then knowing how to express the music and how to present it and how to move with it and really connect with the audience, to learn how to be an entertainer. It just goes on, learning how to talk to the audience. And, the marketing thing is a big part of what I do. I'm a businesswoman, always have been. And so I think that way. And I enjoy that part as well, gigging and, marketing and that sort of thing. It's a lot of work, but I tend to attack things, and I think Larry and I are both a little crazy in a good way.
You're a singer, you're a musician. You have to be.
Drop everything. Okay, let's do it. Drop everything. Let's go for it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, yes. It's always yes, Yeah. So we're both a little crazy, and our other band members aren't quite as crazy. So I think they balance us out, And I love working with other two band members.
I don't even know how many are in your band. I mean, we only you got 3.
We have we have a 4-piece band, so we have 2 other band members. So when we're doing the band thing, or the trio,
right?
They're wonderful people to work with. I'm so fortunate to be working with such great guys.
Can you tell us who they are? Or
let me say the trio. I play acoustically for the duo. So we have our drummer has a drum set. It's called a cocktail drum kit. Keeps the volume really low.
Yeah.
But it has a full snare and it's acoustic. It's not like electronic drums.
Right.
You play them very softly in a small environment, and just do the acoustic thing.
It adds a lot. Yeah. Adds a lot.
By far. And the other thing too is the duo and the trio. I do a lot of looping. So
he's really good at it. Yeah.
So that I can play, solos or sequences or different parts of the song.
Right.
And then I get a chance to sort of noodle around a little bit, play some, and at the same
time, love it.
I get to play. We're both happy, And but the drum set, the trio's that way. So I was going to say that. And what was the question? I digressed into that.
So when you do your duos or trios, are you saying that you do use the looper if you don't have a drummer with you?
I still use a looper without the drummer. So I loop everything is the duo, and then we add in the drummer. He listens carefully to the loop if I set one on.
Ah, sure.
I have a separate speaker over sitting by him so he can hear the guitar, turn the volume up and down so he can hear exactly where the beat is. It's not just lost in the room.
Right.
So he can play exactly with what it is that I lay down. Right.
I really need to know how these loopers work. I'm going to have to find somebody that plays with them and is proficient, and to see if I can learn anything about that, because
Yeah.
I'm not a lead, so I don't play those kinds of licks that you would find.
Yeah,
That,
but you might want to loop and so you can just sing for a minute and not have to play. Say if you have a difficult vocal passage, if you did the loop, then you sang the passage, then that could work for you too.
ah.
You know.
Oh,
So,
that sounds
something
like
that.
fun. I got to look into that. I was talking about getting one, but I don't know how to use it. So I didn't know whether,
Right.
since I'm a rhythm guitar player, I didn't know whether that was something that a rhythm guitar player could do, or whether you have to be a lead or.
No, you just have to push the button at the right time, start and stop.
Yeah, right.
That's the key.
And they have loopers
Take
for voice too.
Yeah.
They have loopers for voice too, and we haven't explored that yet. But I would love to do that. Love to do that too, so I can get harmonies and things like that going.
Oh, I got a harmonizer. I've got a pedal board, and I have a harmonizer on it. And oh my gosh, I did it out at the Twin Dragon in Duval when Lynn was there, and it came out. You don't want to know.
It was weird, yeah.
It was like awful, and I'm
that's
taking
bad.
it in to Chad, and he's gonna hopefully help me figure out how to use this darn thing, because I don't know. I think that when I use it, I don't like my singing, much less what this thing is harmonizing with me sometimes. So, yeah. Anyway,
I've had mixed results with them as well, but
yeah.
one thing about doing looper is I play everything in the show. I'm not playing the pre-recorded tracks. So some people, when I first started doing it, people are going, well, you're not really playing that. Well, yes, I just played the part.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, maybe a little more in the moment compared to doing things with a track where the beginning and ending or all the, has to be pre-done. So I can extend things. I can play longer. I can just, we're still creating the performance live. That's what I like about doing looping.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so.
Well, they're becoming more and more popular, and I think that, that again, we're moving towards the future with more and more electronics. And a lot of the musicians that I sometimes interview that don't have those skills, they're kind of at a disadvantage. And I think, things are changing so rapidly that it's good to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, but I would hate to show up to a gig and then realize the battery to my laptop is dead.
Yes, exactly.
I can't play. And
right.
You're awfully dependent on the technology. So what's really doing the playing? Being a musician, those live skills of just delivering everything right there as a musician, and creating all the heat and all the interest and everything right there is preferable to being a rock-a-rokie. You bring your own karaoke.
Yeah.
And there's a band out there called rock-a-rokie.
Yeah.
You can get up and sing with the band, any rock, and they'll just pull it.
Yes, and use a karaoke machine. I never got to do that, but Jessica had a backup singer named Circa. So I can't remember, Cherokee, and Circa would do that with the band, and she kept inviting me out to Jazz Bones to do it, and I never got to do it. Then there was a place closer in Bellevue, and I didn't get there, so I missed my chance. But I thought, what is this? I mean, but whatever gets you there to the place that you want to be, it's so long as you don't stop there. I mean, I think, that's fun. It's fun. It's a good entertainment, but it's not necessarily the best way to go forever.
I don't think so. But, if it's getting you the next step, what you want to express musically, then use whatever you want to use.
Exactly.
It's kind of a journey. The whole thing is a journey, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So are you ever going to get Diane to play more than percussion?
I don't know. We haven't talked about it too much. What do you think, Diane?
You mean you want me to play lead guitar or something?
No. I haven't.
Well, we have one of the songs we have, the bass player has just a part that he has to play. So I have Diane set up to go over and plunk the string on the bass, just quarter notes while he's singing this kind of difficult thing, so he can change the notes on the bass and she just goes and plays one note.
Right. There you go.
Doing the
I want to see that, Diane.
Yeah.
I do chimes really well.
I,
I do. Chimes are I'm really good at that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not happy with my guitar playing. I haven't been since I started. So I've been taking lessons. COVID started me off. I was sitting in my room playing, and I thought, wow, there's a lot of room for improvement because I'm not going to stream sounding like this.
Yeah.
So I've been taking lessons from first it was Dave Nichols, who's country, and then I moved on to Chad Christie's rock, and I'm hopefully improving. I don't know, but I'm trying. So
that's
I
that's
Oh,
all
you
you
will.
can do.
You
Man.
will.
You will if you keep at
Oh,
it.
yeah. You're working on it. You will. Definitely. Yeah.
and I kind of envy the singers who don't play an instrument. Percussion is an instrument, but I mean like guitar or whatever, because they can concentrate on their singing. For me, I have to concentrate on both. And if my playing isn't up to my singing level, it gets ugly real fast.
Yeah, it is tough. It's tough to play and
Yes.
sing. To integrate both is two brains kind of a deal, you know. So,
Yeah.
by the way, I've seen you play a few times, and you do some original music too. You know, you had a couple of original songs that I thought were pretty good. It's been a while since I've heard you though.
Yeah.
So, like,
Still working on it. Still working. I got one now that's kicking my butt. Have you ever heard that song by Shelley Wright called "Shut Up and Drive"?
no, that doesn't.
It's got a weird triplet thing that's in there, and it's instead of four straight beats, it's like one and then a triplet and then four, and the triplet counts as two beats in the measure. It's just been kicking my butt, and it's been 2 years. I'm still working on that song. It's like I've never
Don't
heard
give
it.
up. You'll get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hope. I
Give up,
think I
right?
got it now, but I don't know.
That works.
I'm
That's how it
saying-
works.
Yeah.
You got to be
So-
stubborn about it.
Thank you, Larry, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we've gone through a little bit about where you've been and where you're going. I have about 20 minutes now to work on the in the last 15 minutes. I'm going to start asking you about your gigs and what you're doing now in the here and now and what you have coming up. Obviously, songwriting is not there, but it will be in the future, I'll bet. Oh, you'll get the bug. I never wrote a song in my life until COVID. So, and sooner or later, that urge comes upon you and you just end up doing it. Right, Larry?
That's true. I can't say that I've never written a song,
Mhm.
but I've written some bad poetry, which could work.
Yeah.
And I do come up with things that I like to play that are, of a compositional nature, certain grooves, things that
Right.
really speak to me. And I haven't really done much with them, but writing a good melody is really good, and having a good structure for a song.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking more instrumentally than vocally, and I always have. Even when I was working 6 nights a week years ago, I was a good enough musician, so I was always the least singer in the band. So I always sang backups, and I sang lead like twice a night, if that. So it just hasn't been the thing at the forefront, but there's lots of time left, right?
Yes, that's right. And you guys have been together for 8 years, so who knows what the future has out there for you. That's the good thing. So I would like to ask you about an experience or experiences that you've had, each of you individually, that helped you realize that you were on the right track. This is what you should be doing, or this is what your heart wants, or your head wants, or whatever. And I'm going to start with you, Diane. Yeah, aha moments, basically the aha moments.
Aha moments.
Or moment, whatever.
I guess for me, it's been more getting confidence in my voice and in my performance. And then, of course, it's when you see people respond, and just seeing how far I can take my voice Even
Right.
in the last 6 months,
Right.
my voice has changed in a good way because I'm learning some techniques. I'm taking some different lessons online and
Mm.
through another person, and just discovering what I can do with
Mm.
this instrument that I have that I never really believed in before I started doing this, you know. But yeah, the performing thing, I love doing it, and I love just looking at people when I'm singing and them responding to it. Um, and they're singing along, or they're dancing, or they're, just what you hear afterwards. I love the whole experience, really. The
It's
whole experience. Yeah.
addictive.
What'd you say?
It's addictive. Once you try to stop, it
Yeah.
calls you back.
Yeah. It's, I just like watching how people react, you know, and how they're getting to, and even if they're, just talking with themselves and just doing their own thing, like at a winery or something, uh, um, I can kind of get into myself and just challenge myself to give the best performance, and just try to relax and let my voice flow and just let things come out. And it's like, wow, I did a really good job on that song tonight. That's the best I've done on that song.
Yes.
Wow, that was great. Even though maybe nobody was listening, because it was more of that
They
kind of
probably were,
situation.
but they didn't say anything.
Yeah, yeah. But I know in my heart that,
Did you
wow,
did it?
I made a next level tonight, with
Yeah,
this song
that's a pretty
that I've
good
maybe
news.
sung for several years, and I always had these one or two places that I always struggled with. So
Well, that's a
those are
pretty
aha
good.
moments for me.
Yes, absolutely. I get it. I get
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Larry.
Yeah. Aha moment.
And I
Yeah.
know that you belong to more than one band. I mean, this is one of your bands, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a
And I also know that you have a background because you told me in radio, and we never touched on that. So
television.
we're talking now not just Woods Creek, but also the other bands that you're in and your experiences as in radio. All of
Oh,
those
yeah.
things combined, because I think that all goes into making you who you are.
Sure.
That's what
Well, it was. I didn't do much in the way of radio. I did some advertising, voiceover
oh,
stuff for radio.
okay.
I produced some ads for radio, but
Oh,
it was video production, all phases, for
okay.
15 years. But let's see, aha moment. Well, try to think in some context here. I had my youthful aha moment was
Ah,
when I just really wanted to play music in the worst way. And when I was in high school, I decided that's what I'm going to do. So I've had many aha moments and different things. So an aha moment for me in terms of our thing that we're doing together is that, when we started working together, Diane would show up with her work on time, words printed out, song rehearsed, has learned it and listened to it 15 times, so she knows the arrangement. Okay. And she might even throw a song on me like that. And so I have to learn it on the spot. So she can actually just sing the part. Hey, this little part, dude, she'll sing it to me. Oh yeah, I hear that too. And then I can play it. So, I had a little bit of an aha moment, just, keeping, making a commitment to doing this with Diane, because she's just really has a lot of talent there, has a great ear and that sort of thing. So, I don't know,
Thank you, Larry.
yes. So
high
that
praise.
that's one,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. No, so other things, when I did retire, I didn't think I'd be in this many bands as I am, and I'm really busy, but I want to do it, and when I retired, I really wasn't sure exactly if I was going to do music or get back into the video production business. And I contacted some people in the business and checked the state of the industry, who's making money, how they're making it, and that sort of thing. I decided to just do music. I can sustain myself doing this and getting back into it. And so that was a big change for me. So,
Well, is there any times where you regretted doing what you're doing, or you said, "Well, how did I get into this? What the heck am I doing here?"
wait, well, it was the music business. It's always
Yeah.
it's always had its pitfalls. The when I first became single in 2002, and I was working my business before UPS, I was going to bars. They're still smoking. I tried a couple of open mic jams, and it was just it reminded me of everything that I hated about the music business. Going into a place and coming out, not smoking a cigarette, but feeling like you just smoked half a pack because they just smoked a pack around you. They got rid of the smoking. That's good, but still, it's a drinking environment. When I got out of the business, I just had enough of the bar scene. So I try to monitor my tolerance of the bar scene because there's life outside of that, and lots of places to play where there's not that element of it. So there's different strata of things going on. That's why I really like wineries, even though there's wine involved. It's it's low key. It's not.
Yes, it's more of a social. It's not there to necessarily drink, but it's there to enjoy what you are drinking and the people you're with or the environment. Yeah,
yeah.
I like that.
Very classy. Very classy. Yeah.
Corporate gigs,
Same thing.
wedding events, things like that are always fun. Just to go play music, but I'll take the down and dirty bar scene and go do the blues jam or whatever I want to do. So,
Yeah.
But I know that I'm not dependent on it where I'm making a living from it or having to be selective if I want to go, as opposed to being in a bar band that's in bars every night like I used to be. So that's one nice thing about this. Everything's a single performance these days. I mean, back in the day, you used to show up and you would move in for 2 weeks because it was like moving furniture. You had a Hammond B3 organ. You had a huge PA system. You had bass gear that was, you didn't want to move that more than once every couple of weeks. So now everything's, one off.
Smaller. Yeah.
So you don't really ever have any time to just sort of dial everything in, You just have to go with what it is, the best you can do under the circumstances. That's different, I mean, it'd be nice to get a gig as a resident in Las Vegas and be part of the pit band or something, just show up and go every day. And
It is better.
You show up for work. Like I have a friend, he was in the first band I was ever in. He's a bass player. He's a brass player. He plays bass and stringed instruments. He plays about 12 instruments, but he's on staff at Walt Disney and plays in the park down in California and other parks. And that's his gig. I mean, he shows up and he plays 5 performances a day, so something like that would be fun.
Yeah. Gotcha. So what do you guys have coming up? Do you have what I ask my people when I interview them is to put their website, and I know I did that when I was advertising, Diane, with the stuff that you gave me. You gave me a partial song list of what you do play. You also gave me some information. I think your website was on there. Is that not correct?
Yeah, it was on there, I'm sure. Yeah.
So anybody who wants to know can refer back to that. But I also like you to post when you have a gig. If you're doing some advertising for a gig, hit us up, put it on there, and let people know, because now they know who haven't heard you before. Now they know.
We'll do that, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah. I found that there was not much of that going on, and I was taking advertising from a lady named Kira Michelle. She's a rock singer, a younger rock singer, starting out, and she's doing quite well. But she's really into marketing, and so she taught me marketing that from what I needed to know at the time. And so it's really important to get the right marketing. And she said, well, what would you if you don't want to play in a stream, so what would you like to do? And I thought about it for a while, and I just sort of drifted into this. The first time I got on screen, I had to interview people. I was like, I didn't even know what I was doing with my equipment. I had no clue. I was so nervous, but all that passes, and now I can have a whole band up here and still feel comfortable. So anyway, that I found that wasn't out there, and I thought, well, you know what? People don't always know what's going on. They go in someplace and they see a band they listen to them, but they don't know much about them. And I think it's important to know that, where these people that are playing for you have come from, and so, some of their thoughts and whatever. It's good to know all of the effort that you guys put into your music is coming out for them to hear. So
Yes,
that's
thank
what
you.
all got started. I don't know if I'm going to find enough people to interview, but it seems to be every time I think, oh my gosh, I haven't got anybody. Where am I going to go? Somebody shows up. So.
Joy, I've
I'm
enjoyed.
glad you chose us.
Yeah. I've enjoyed your interviews, and I've
Thank you.
heard people that I know out playing and know slightly socially, not that well.
Right.
Found out their background more or other things they're doing. It's been really nice because, I feel like I'm better connected to the people around me
Right.
because they've had a chance to
Thank you.
talk about themselves. And it's good. It's a good job. And it's a good thing.
Thank you. Yeah. I was out there for 15 years at the band playing country music, and it's like a railroad station, people coming in, people going out. And then I got sick and I had to take some years off. Came back to it in kind of a strange way. I didn't think I'd ever come back, but I did. And now it's like I'm really struggling. Things have changed so much. A lot of people out there, they don't like to practice. They just want to come in and play the gig. And I'm thinking, how do you get tight? How do you get that music refined if you're not together and working on it? And I know how hard it is to learn to sing, to learn to play, to learn the mechanics of how to get your music out there and all the electronics that are coming through now. And I think people that go into these places that we play need to hear that. And it's a struggle for the artists. It's a struggle for the listeners as well, because they don't know you've met them. If you make them happy and they're dancing, then they'll probably follow you. But if they're kind of on the cusp, they don't know what's going on. It's kind of hit or miss. I mean, it just depends. Some people like my music, some people don't. Well, this is all I got. It's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you have listened, I'm glad that you feel that this is a service. I hope it is. And I think it's even harder for people like you, Diane, that are, you're doing 8 years, so you're kind of a veteran at it, but, you've had your struggles and you still feel fairly new. I think you feel, I don't know if you feel that way, but that's how I perceive you, that, you don't know what's coming in the future, and you're on this journey and you're struggling with it to get better, taking voice lessons and trying to improve your art. And, that's what I wanted to present. That's what I wanted people to know. Listen to their music too. Listen to their music, but also this is a singer-songwriter platform too. And those people don't necessarily know how to market. They don't know how to present themselves.
Yeah.
And their fans don't know what's going on. So I think there are other programs like this. I get 2 people over in Europe. Of course, it's broadcast everywhere. It's not just the United States. I have it out on YouTube so anybody can listen. Yeah. And they're doing that with the bands over in Europe. So hopefully this will catch on too, because you don't have big marketing businesses with these big record companies anymore. I mean, to get a record deal or to be promoted by a production company as big as in Nashville.
The music business as it existed, it only exists in our minds at this point. Everything has changed, It's just not the same,
And I think the fantasy, it wasn't me. I started later, but I faced reality really early. But, being a star is not important to me. And my husband kept trying to enter me into contests, and I said, no, thank you. I said, I just want to go out there and do my thing and be appreciated. And, I don't see any of this going anywhere, but except for my enjoying the people I'm singing to, and they're enjoying my music, period.
Well, there is something to be said for delivering a solid performance and entertaining the people that are in front of you.
Yes, absolutely.
And connecting with them. And that is something that has driven me, because I've had those, profound experiences early on in my music playing where people are really connected with what I was doing. And it lightens the load. It shifts people's attention off of any of their worries or problems or what consumes them for at least a few minutes. And that is a good thing. That's a good relief, you know. I think
Absolutely.
that's how music works.
That's right.
It's
That's
certainly
right.
therapeutic for me. So I'm going to go do some more therapy when we get done here in a minute.
Okay. Well, I think we're pretty close. We've got just a few seconds left. So I do want to thank you both for coming on. I wish you all the luck in the future. And I know with your playing and her singing, you're gonna get the gigs and you're gonna have your enjoyment out there, and people are going to be watching you.
Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
You're
This was
welcome.
fun.
A lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care, Diane. Take
All
care.
right. You too. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's the show for today. Speaking of music and connecting people, there's a band coming, Ambassadors of Love, next week, and I'm looking forward to interviewing them. So do tune in. See you 1 week from today, 2:00, and you have a good rest of your week. That's it for me. Let's see if I can get out of here gracefully. Bye, guys.